coaching over the years, I've had £80 return. I've actually worked out my return on investment on coaching. There is a return on it, but you've got to select the right person for you. But if you're not of the mindset that you want to do that, and you want to get around a coach or a mentor that you think is unobtainable for you, get around their material. I talked about Anthony Robbins with a few of you today, okay? And I talked about Anthony Robbins and some of his quotations. I love the stuff that Anthony does. And I didn't, when I first heard about him, I thought, oh no, American guru, rah-rah, I'm not looking forward to this. I went to something called the National Achievers Congress, and he was there speaking with Sir Richard Branson and Lord Sugar. And I thought, I'm going to go and see those guys, because that's going to be amazing. And he was coming on. But actually, like yourself, when I was introduced to Anthony Robbins, I realized this guy can change your life. And he did change my life, but from a distance. So I went to his seminars, I read his books, I listened to his podcasts. He's on Netflix, we've done Not Your Guru. He got loads and loads of his material. Actually, you know what? To be coached personally by Anthony Robbins, he charges $1 million a year. I would love to be coached by him one day, and it's on my dream board. But for now, I just get around his material. So if you can't get around your coach or a mentor, get around their material. Aaron's webinars, his books, the seminars, the 3-day event, and all of that stuff, just get around your gurus and learn from them from a distance if you can't learn from them personally. Peer group is really important as well. Now for some of you, maybe going home today to a significant other who's really nervous about where you've been today, and they're waiting for you to come home and they're going to say, have you spent a life savings on some crazy scheme? It's really important that you've got people who understand what you're doing in your journey. Again, if I go back to Anthony Robbins, he does an event called Unleash the Power Within. A very American term, but actually, when you go there and you understand what it is that he does, the first day he has you walking over 2,000-degree hot coals in your bare feet. And I knew it was going to be transformational. Now, if I was going to transform and change, remember I said I've been with my wife now for nearly 25 years, or I've been with her for 30 years, I needed to bring her to that event. Because what if I changed beyond all recognition and she didn't recognize me anymore? Or what if I wanted to change and she wanted to stay the same and didn't get it? So get yourself a peer group. Make sure that your significant others understand what it is you're doing and they support you with love and they want to come on the journey with you. But also your peer group. I talked earlier on about Joseph's mates phoning him up, asking him down the pub when he's doing his property business. If they say that you are the sum total of the 5 people you spend most of your time with. Think about it. Some of you, that's a bit scary when you look at the people you spend most of your time with. You might need to get yourself some new peers. Maybe you've met some people here today and made some great contacts here today, and you might want to keep in touch with those people. PMA students, we've got a great forum, a Facebook forum, you saw it earlier on. Those people that you meet at that event are going to be people that are going to want to stay in touch with you. And when you feel like falling over, we'll pick you up, teach you what you need to learn, and help you with your mindset. But those people that are with you on this journey are so valuable because they're feeling it too. And they'll pick you up and help you get there as well. Does that make sense? If it does, just raise your hands. Okay, peer group, really important. Take actionable bite-sized steps. Remember what I said earlier on? That subconscious brain of yours is 40,000 times more powerful than your conscious brain. When you go home tonight, it's going to start talking to you. There's a voice in that little brain of yours. Some call it the chimp. There's a great book actually. It's called The Chimp Paradox. Anyone read that book?
No, I've not read it. But yeah.
The Chimp Paradox, and it's by a guy called Dr. Steve Peters, and he talks about the stuff that we tell ourselves and why we do it. Why we do it basically is because our primitive brain is trying to keep us alive. What do you think it is the number one thing that stops people from moving forward? Fear. Fear. Another 4-letter word. Fear is a 4-letter word. Fear stands for false
evidence,
expectations, appearing real. False expectations, appearing real. That's all fear is. A great book for you to read Another great book for you to read is called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. What a great title for us to by a lady called Susan Jeffers. Who's read the book? One person, great. Susan Jeffers, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway, because it's fear that generally stops us from moving forward. Fear of failure, fear of the unknown, fear of success in some people's cases. You know, will I get the success and actually be able to handle it? Some people self-sabotage because the success feels like too much pressure. Amazing the subtle little things that stop us from doing what we want to do. But it's the chimp in our brain that says, don't stand up in front of a group of people, you're going to look stupid. I'm doing this for a living. But fear is, honestly, it is the thing that stops us. So taking actionable bite-sized steps, what you start to do is program your subconscious brain with, brain, we can do this. Because when you get home, for some of you, and you go to sleep tonight, on your way in your slumber, this is what's going to happen. A little voice is going to come out and say, who do you think you're kidding? You're not good enough to earn £50,000 a year. Besides, you're too old. Or besides, you're too young. True enough, it's going to happen. So if we take these actionable bite-sized steps, then what happens is, as you get your small wins, your small successes, your belief will change entirely. There was a time when I did not know how to drive a car. So one sunny day, my mother came home with a bright blue Beetle. I'm 11 years old, and I see the bright blue Beetle on the driveway, and I think to myself, as a helpful chap, as she's packing away the shopping, this is in the days when we used to have to go and collect our own shopping, she's packing away the shopping, she leaves the keys in the ignition. But I didn't know what I didn't know about driving a car. No idea. I'd seen other people doing it, it looked easy. I was at the first stage of learning at that stage, which is what we call unconscious incompetence. I did not know what I didn't know about driving a car. 3 or 5 seconds later, I went to the second part of learning when I hit the tree that was 15 meters away from the garage that I was aiming for. The second part of learning is conscious incompetence. I suddenly knew what I didn't know about driving a car. I knew there was a lot more that I needed to know. Then when you hire a driving instructor, you get to the third level of learning, which is conscious competence. In other words, you're thinking about everything, aren't you? Mirror, signal, manoeuvring, your hands are like white knuckles on the driving of the steering wheel. Then you get to the fourth level of learning, which is unconscious competence. In other words, you've taught that subconscious brain how to drive. You can do it without thinking about it. How many of you can remember every mirror, signal, manoeuvre and gear change you did in your car on the way here today? Not one of you. But when you're actually going through that process, this is how it works. If you can take actionable bite-sized steps, you start telling your subconscious brain, we're going there. So you get your first buy-to-let mortgage, you get your first buy-to-let, and the profit you make from that, think about it, well, that's going to take care of some bills at home. Number 2 and number 3, well, that's going to take care of my own resi mortgage or my rent at home. And you start getting successes, and the brain says, we can do this, and your belief will change completely. The biggest step in anything is from 0 to 1, from no buy-to-lets to 1 buy-to-let. And it's the same in anything in life. Go back to my story about Chloe. You know, she was our very firstborn. She was my first daughter. And some of those pictures that I look at back in those old days, I've not just got Chloe in my arms, I've got another thing. It was a book, Dr. Miriam Stoppard's How to Bring Up a Baby book. It's in every picture. I remember when I first came to bathe her thinking, this could go horribly wrong. And you got a book in there. When Charlotte was born, no book. The step from 0 to 1 is the biggest, but if you take actionable bite-sized steps, what I'm going to suggest you do is, when I send this out to you, these slides, if you put the actions of what's next into like a Gantt chart, and then just say, right, when I'm going to start doing these things, when I'm going to start doing these things. Lock it in the diary. If it's not scheduled, it's not going to happen. As I said earlier on, why would you give yourself any less opportunity for this to be a success for you as you would if you were working for somebody else? Does that make sense? Yes or no? Yes. Who's going to commit to lock this stuff in their diary? Raise your hands. Got to do it. If you don't do it, it's not going to happen. And now, shift your mindset on hourly break. I promised I would do this earlier on.
when you become financially free, I promise you, you will shift your mindset on hourly rates. I'm going to demonstrate this with some audience participation. All of us have probably got a value that we put on our hours. Now, for some of you, it will be what you're actually paid in your day-to-day job. For some of you, you'll think, actually, no, hell, I am worth more than that. I've got a higher hourly rate in my head as to what I'm worth. I want you to just think just internalize this. Don't share it with anyone. Just think to yourself now, what are you worth per hour? What are your precious hours on this earth worth? But what are you worth right now per hour? Don't tell me. Let's see if I can get you to shift your mindset on hourly rate. This is what I call the skill fun matrix. So on this axis we've got skill, on this axis we've got fun. I'm going to break it into sections. What I want you to do is just give me some examples of some tasks, not results, tasks that you spend time doing in your day-to-day life that are not fun for you.
Housework.
Housework! So would we agree it's not fun, but also it's not particularly high skill? Yeah? Anything else, guys?
Cooking.
Cooking. Now some people find cooking fun,
I don't.
but some people don't find it fun. And in my household, it's pretty low skill. Depends on what it is you're cooking, I guess. But cooking is variable. It could be in one of these, it could be in one of those, and you know, it depends what level of cooking you're talking about. If you go to a Michelin star restaurant, does that require high skill or not? It does, doesn't it? So cooking, I think, is one of those things that I'm not going to put it on there because it'll be different for some of you. But I think there's some universal things. Raise your hand if you like taking out the bins. Nobody? Okay, should we put that on there?
Yeah.
Okay, the bins. Raise your hand if you like ironing. Everybody see these people, because nobody else likes it. Oh my goodness me. We've got some people that like ironing. I'm putting ironing on there, okay? Because I hate ironing. And I feel that it's pretty low skill, as you could probably tell from my shirt.
Yeah, I think ironing shirts is a high skill.
Well, it is if you look at mine, yeah, you're right. Okay, so there's a few things on there which in our day-to-day life are pretty low fun and pretty low skill. They're laborious jobs we don't really like. Now, those landlords that are already in the room and those of you who've all bought portfolios and building portfolios already, this is going to be easier for you to answer. But I want you people as well who haven't built your portfolios yet to think about some of the stuff we talked about today. And just tell me, what things do you think will be a lot of fun in building your portfolio? What stuff would you really enjoy? Making money. So are we talking about doing the deals? Yeah. Doing the deals is high fun. Where is it on skill? No. Go ahead and do the deals without any skills. See where it gets you.
No, it's high skill.
It's high.
You've got to know what you do.
Of course it is. Doing the deals is high fun and high skill. Question. How many deals do you need to do to become financially free? 8. 8, 9 or 10. How long does it take? It takes however long it takes, doesn't it? But it's a finite amount of time. I don't know how long it's going to be for you, but let's say it only takes you, say it takes you 1,000 hours, when you add all the hours up, to do 8 deals that see you financially free with £50,000 for the next 40 years. That's £2 million. £2 million divided by 1,000 hours. What's that as an hourly rate? 20 grand? 20 grand an hour. Who'd like to earn 20 grand an hour? The 20 grand an hour, that's 20 grand an hour work. How much could you pay someone to do your housework, your bins, or your ironing?
So 10 to 15 pounds an hour.
10 to 15 pounds an hour. So, I'll give you another example. This is what I call leverage. You do the work once and you get paid forever. You don't have to keep doing the deals if you stop at 8. Here's an example for you. J.K. Rowling. When Joe Rowling wrote the first Harry Potter book, The Philosopher's Stone, she was a single mother. She had no job. She had to get this book out of her head. And she didn't have enough money to put the heating on her own home. So you would have seen Joe Rowling writing Harry Potter, The Philosopher's Stone on her laptop in a local cafe because it was warmer. And some of us might have looked at this single mother and said, irresponsible. She should go and get a job. She's got a kid to support. What's she doing? Writing a book. Is she still writing the Harry Potter series? No. She wrote it once. How much is she making from Harry Potter series?
Millions.
The book,
Millions.
the films, the theme parks, the merchandise, it's in the billions. I don't know how long it took her to write those books, but it was a finite number of hours. What do you think the hourly rate was?
Million an hour?
It's probably over $1 million an hour. You do the work once, you get paid forever. You see, the challenge for most of us is that while you're doing your deals, you're not actually getting any income. But it's like I said earlier on, the alternative is just to stay on the hamster wheel and do hours and hours of work. In other words, working hard for money instead of getting money working hard for you. If that makes sense, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
So every hour that you're not doing this and you're doing this, you're losing the difference between £20,000 an hour and £10 an hour. So here's the good news, guys. Never do the housework again. Never take out the bins. Never ever do the ironing. Never. Now, some of you have got somebody waiting for you at home, and you're going to go home and say, hey, I'm never doing the bins, I'm never doing the ironing, I'm never doing the housework again. Stuart told me to. And then you're going to go, what? Who is this guy? But remind them of this. If they are your significant other, remind them of why you're doing it, and show them this. Because every hour you spend getting yourself the financial freedom, you only need to do it once, and you've got it forever. Raise your hand if your significant other would like to be financially free as well. My point. Made my point. Shifting your hourly rate. Next, choose a strategy and marry it. Do not have multiple strategies. If you have multiple strategies, you probably have multiple wives, girlfriends, husbands, and lovers as well. Shame on you! Choose one and marry it. All you need to do is get yourself financial freedom and then have a play around. As I said earlier on, Aaron has HMOs, and he has family lets, and he has buy-to-let properties. But everybody that has become as successful as I alluded to earlier on, they've only used one strategy to get them to financial freedom. Focus, focus, focus. Master that strategy, get to financial freedom, and then do what the heck you like. Learn to joint venture. It's the rocket fuel, the jet propulsion, the turbocharger that gets you there quicker. Remember, you don't know how long you've got on this planet. And every hour, every day, every week you have is precious because you're never going to be here again. You can make money whenever you want to make money, just by learning to make money. You will never get a single second of your life back. So don't wait. Start now. If you haven't got the money, if you haven't got the time, if you haven't got the experience, you know what to do. Use somebody else's money if you haven't got your own. Use somebody else's time if you haven't got your own. And get the experience so you both know what you're doing. If you meet someone that's 5 out of 10 on experience and you're 5 out of 10 on experience, make sure it's 5 out of 10 in different areas so you can marry up and joint venture. If you know how to raise £100,000 once, how many times can you raise 100,000? Many times as you want. Such an important skill. And lastly, master those 10 steps. If you understand the fact that this has been put together, it's not, the 3-day event, for example, that's not a 3-day event. That is 20 years of property investment experience, synthesized, crystallized, distilled into a 3-day event and 10 key steps that if you learn them and get to 8 or 9 or 10 out of 10, you can have the same as Aaron. You may not want to get 200 properties, that's a big number of properties. For some of you, it'll be, hell yes. I met somebody earlier on, I reckon he's going to have 200 properties by the time he's 50. But if you want to get to financial freedom, you need to know what you're doing. So if you don't do it with us, find another way, but master those 10 key steps. Learning is leverage. If you do the work once, you get paid forever. And if you want to earn more, you've got to learn more. So make sure that if you do nothing else from today, you commit to mastery. It will change your life. The last book that I'm going to recommend to you today. 7 Secrets to Wealth and Happiness by Jim Rohn, R-O-H-N. He's one of my favourite gurus. Brilliant. The 7 Secrets to Wealth and Happiness by Jim Rohn, R-O-H-N. So Jim says, and this is one of my favourite Jim Rohn quotations. He says, work harder on yourself than you do on your job. If you work hard on your job, you can make a living. If you work hard on yourself, you can make a fortune. And it changed my life. Commit to mastery. Never stop learning. Always work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Because that's the way to get to financial freedom. It's the way to get to success in any endeavour in life. You've got to learn more to earn more. Hence, invest with knowledge helps you to invest with confidence and create financial freedom. Really enjoyed being your host for today. You've been a fantastic audience, great energy. I know there's been a lot of content, I know there's been a lot of information, but I really appreciate you staying with me to the end and really appreciate all the comments that you've made, and I really hope to hear from you about your financial freedom and your journey going forward. Thank you so much. That's it.